locked myself in a room for literally like 30 days. I was posting 3-4 times a day. I was speaking to everyone in the DMs. Like, that's all I was doing all day, pumping out like 15 lead magnets at the end. Email list ramped up to maybe like 200.
A lot of creators, what they're gonna do is, oh yeah, I'm building this thing. I'm building this thing. It's a secret, but it's gonna explode when I launch. Never happens. Never fucking happens.
I had no help with this. The whole system, the designs, logos, lead magnets, the DM messaging, Instagram growth building, editing of all the Instagram videos, the filming of all the Instagram videos. I didn't outsource anything for those first 30 days because I didn't have the funds behind me to do it. Sleeping on the sofa, waking up, doing the work, going back again, falling asleep on the sofa. I lost my relationship from this, man, but sacrifices are needed.
That's what it takes. Like, this wasn't a magical launch. This was 30 days of hard work, heart and soul. That is the power of storytelling right there.
On the kind of topic of brand story, people forget how important story is. And story is becoming more important as we keep talking about personal branding and as we keep talking about getting that connection with the audience, because connection with the audience is more important now than ever before. People thought it was going to be different with AI coming in, like you would be able to AI this, AI that, but there's a human fight back on AI right now. People are actually fighting back against AI. They want to see stories, they want to see personality, so we need to show what we're doing, build from the ground up. So what would you say the most important thing is when showcasing your brand story? Like, where do you need to start with that? Do you go right from the beginning, from when you were born, or do you start just from when the business started? How would you play on storytelling?
I think there's a fine line between it being beneficial towards your business and too personal, you know? Like, too personal. Not everyone's going to want to know about the death of your father, unless it directly correlates to the business that you're trying to build and the brand that you're trying to build. But not everyone needs to know that. So there's a fine line. I think that, for example, if we're just strictly looking at coaches or people in the info space, something that would, guideline that I would follow is, what is your transformation? What is your story related to the transformation that you went through? And if you're a brand, what is the story that people can tell themselves in their mind? How can you showcase it so people can tell themselves and visualize themselves in that storyline that you're trying to sell them? Because as a brand, your product or your service is meant to transform people's lives. And I feel like that's the disconnect right now. It's people, they're not selling the transformation enough, but But you don't sell a transformation by features and benefits. You sell a transformation by the stories that people will tell themselves as a result of working with you or buying your product.
Yeah, that's kind of following the line of people buy people. People don't just buy products and information. Like, maybe they did at one point on social media, but it's definitely as we spoke about last episode when we spoke about the transition through the different eras of wealth era to talking head information era to now kind of this lifestyle relatability era. That's what they're buying into. So I always say, how many of your layers can you match to the audience layers? Because you've got to remember the audience is humans too. So, and they have so many different layers about them, just like you do. So if we're talking on a fitness sense, you can't just be doing fitness stuff all the time. You've got to try and think, okay, well, what around this other person's life can I connect with too? And if you match a lot of your layers with a lot of their layers, then guess what? That person's going to become a lot more kind of attracted to you because they see themselves in you. They relate to your story, they relate to your journey. So as you're telling everything from your story, you've got to be talking about like your emotions going through stuff, your transitional phases, kind of your mindset, your thought at points. Like, dig deep into these little things that are gonna just kind of show all these different layers, because the more of them we can match up to the audience, the more they're gonna buy into you.
For example, as a personal brand and as a creator, your audience, the best thing that can go through their mind is, he's just like me, or he or she was once just like me. And look at them now. Look at them now. And it should give them a sense of hope. It should give them a sense of, a sense of hope that if they follow your advice or if they interact with your content and they stay in your world, that hope should allow them to achieve, like that hope should allow them to visualize the transformation, visualize the story that they're going to go through in their minds very vividly and very clearly.
So that's kind of the basis of kind of the storytelling approach that we want to go with. But if we run it back to the AI stuff that I was said right at the start, why do you think there's a fight back, like a human fight back on AI right now?
Why do I think there's a human fight back on AI? That's a great question. That's a great question because there's many layers to that answer. You know, there's a layer where humans, AI, we don't want AI to take over. You know, like we're still a competitive species. You know, we're still the apex species. But if AI here, with AI capable of doing everything that humans are able to do, without any emotion, without any remorse, without any empathy at all, there's a sense of competition going on. You know, there's that inner, we want to stay the apex, right? But how do we do that with something that is so efficient at completing tasks in a robotic manner that it almost makes us obsolete, except in the human to human connection part. And I think that's where the fight back kind of stems from. Is that the kind of answer
Yeah,
you're looking for?
I mean, you got to look at movies as well, like when it's like iRobot and stuff like that. Like the only time the human species come together, like, we've got the racism and stuff like that. But this is like obviously machinism or whatever you want to call it. But that's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening. Or the human species are going to eventually maybe come together, forget racism at one point. Don't matter about black, white, Asian, whatever. Everyone's going to just be human versus these robots.
Oh
It's
yeah.
exactly like we see in the movies, and it's kind of starting now.
Yeah, bro. There's already memes going around on Instagram, on TikTok, things like that, where there's now a racial slur for robots. It's clanker. Have you seen that? Have you seen that, bro?
I'm going to type that into ChatGPT, see if it knows what I'm talking about. I'm going to be the
Call
first
the.
one. I'm going to be the first one it ends as soon as it becomes
Yeah,
alive.
exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So if we're looking at tactics to telling the story, then back to that story stuff. If we're looking at tactics, the first story you want to tell, I think, on your social media is where you start. If we try to put it in some sort of like framework, I would probably say there's three layers to it. You kind of touched on it a little bit when you said like who you were, which is like your old beliefs, your old behaviors, your old mindset, what changed, so the moment, the realization or the decision, and who you help now, so why that journey gives you the authority to that person. If you can touch those three, who you were, what changed, and who you help now, that'll position you kind of in the right area. So that needs to be the first story that you're kind of coming online and telling about your old beliefs and the transition. They, what was your kind of first story when you came online? I'm trying to think back to mine because I started so early, so I don't even know when I really started telling my story within fitness. Because when you're so young and just getting into it yourself, sometimes you don't really have a story because you've not even hit that change yet. So it does get easier as you get deeper and deeper into the industry, and the longer you've been doing it, you kind of got more story to tell, don't you?
How I started basically posting content was there was always some sort of storytelling incorporated in my content strategy. I started with voiceover workouts, and like I was just telling jokes, and I was trying to make a storyline from the workout. In each video, I tried to make a mini storyline, and in my account as a whole, for someone who followed me, they always knew I was on some sort of quest, on some sort of mission. My first mission when I started posting fitness content was, all right, guys, I'm gonna get my certification. I'm gonna get my coaching certification, and I would bring people along with me to the throughout that entire journey of me not knowing much about physical fitness. Like I was in shape myself, but I wasn't coaching people yet. So I was showing people my process of, okay, this is my first client. This is my second client. This is my transformation. This is what I'm currently studying right now, and this is how I'm applying it in my clients. So there was always that sense of storytelling. Before I got into who I was, I wanted to make sure that people gave a fuck about who I was, you know? I wanted to make sure that there was enough, how do I say this? There was enough, I'm missing the word right now, but there was enough attention on my account, on the results that I was getting from my clients before I brought up, hey guys, I wasn't always like this. This is how I was. But then again, when I started, was I making much money? No, I wasn't. I just love making content. I just love telling my story. But I feel like today, fast forward 5 years later, that's what makes my personal brand and my business so powerful, is because when people like, especially the OG followers, when they think about me, they think about results, no bullshit results, because that's the story I always told on my account as a whole.
Yeah. So how long ago was that? 'Cause there'll be different time frames for you and me. Like I started, obviously, I'm older, so I started this earlier, posting on Instagram back when Instagram was all toasted pictures and stuff like that.
Mm,
Chief Keef. Stuff, there weren't
yeah.
even no reels. I
Hmm.
don't even think there was video format. I'm talking like I'm super old. I'm 29,
Hmm.
but I obviously first started posting on Instagram at what, like, uh, when was that? I think Snapchat was the first big thing for me. I was
Mm,
documenting my life on Snapchat. So
mm,
I was just documenting my life on Snapchat and
hmm.
Instagram. I think I was scared to post on Instagram,
Hmm.
because it felt like every single post on Instagram had to be perfect. It had to be the perfect shot because it was just an image platform then. So I was like, I can't. And that's kind of the same points, like everyone was having Finsters as well. I don't
Hmm.
even think Finsters are needed anymore, which if you don't know what Finsters are like fake Instagram profiles. So it'd be like one that you just add your friends to and you wouldn't care about making the post perfect. You'd just smash up a bunch of them. It's
Hmm.
kind of flipped now. We need to be doing the Finsters on the main one. That's that's
Yeah.
what the main one needs to be. But everyone was having Finsters, so it was documenting life on Snapchat, Finster into your friends, and then
Hmm.
your main Instagram was just like a few shots, maybe like once every 2 weeks or something like that. All of your best shots. But like I
Hmm.
said, that's changed now. So when I really started pushing more down the content line and telling my story, I think was as I started competing because before that I was obviously studying at San Diego State and stuff like that and just documenting random life stuff as a young guy going to parties and training in the gym and flexing and stuff like that, so there was no real storytelling to it. But then I started competing and it gave me that storyline, and I think a lot of coaches who do compete find themselves that's the only storyline that they've got and they get trapped in that, and that's why the page generates no reach, no engagement outside of that window because they've got no over experience in storytelling, and prep kind of forces them to have that experience, that have that story. And it's like
Hmm.
you've got to remember that this is your full-time job. You've got to have some sort of storyline running throughout the whole year, different modes of it. Like I'll have my competition prep and then I might start doing some high rocks training, and then so I'm thinking about doing Muay Thai and signing up to a fight for another storyline. um, I've
Hmm.
got, what other storylines have I got going on? Just trying to think of multiple storylines so you don't just get trapped in that prep is all that you have, because you know right now, if you are a bodybuilder and you are a coach, you know your engagement is up here on prep, and you're like, oh, I don't know. As soon as I stop prep, it drops off. Why does it drop off? Story, story. That's why it drops off. So you need to do something about that. People will engage to another story, but you've got to make sure there's one there that's valuable for them to watch. So you need to always be thinking about what's that next storyline. One thing
Hmm.
actually as well. For people that are not coaches, if we're just talking brands in general, because brands in general do grow very, very well, crazy like on TikTok, just from showing the building of the brand. Like, say, like a donut shop will
Hmm.
show themselves building the donut shop, buying the equipment, putting it in the shop, buying the tills, the desks, the seating, whatever. And then as soon as they open, they sell out. So it is important, not just in like kind of what we're talking about storytelling, but you can tell your story on social media as other brands in other ways. Have you identified that with any other different kind of businesses too?
Basically, what, what this is all saying to me is you can't be afraid to reinvent yourself. You cannot be afraid to reinvent yourself, because I was once that coach, like stuck in, for I would say 2 years. 2 years I was stuck in like competing mode, and I wasn't relying on my social media to generate me income, because I had a short form content agency and had other sources of income at the time. So I didn't give a fuck. I was just posting like gym selfies. I didn't even have any clients. But then one thing I noticed when I started online coaching again this year is the storyline from when I competed became super, super prevalent, because I started prepping in January. I competed, I did 2 shows. I competed in end of April and beginning of May. But then after, after, that's where all the momentum was. That's where all the momentum was. So I do understand 100% what you're saying, because right after, from April to May, my income literally tripled because of that, like that big finish, that big climax in the story. And I was marketing myself well. I was talking to the camera. I was telling people about my transitions, what was going on in the prep, things like that. And after that, the big shift for me, it was, okay, now I'm going to stop bodybuilding. I'm going to chill on bodybuilding. I'm going to focus 100% on business. So how do I transition this audience from a bodybuilder audience to my new business model? And that was bringing them through, like you said, building my donut shop, building my business from the ground up. And that's when people got attached to it, because I was showing them, okay, now I'm living in Miami for 6 weeks, guys. I was literally like talking to them while building my desk setup. You know, like I would do multitasking stuff, things like that, showing them, bringing them with me along the way of building that up. So I do agree with what you're saying, and is 100% something that coaches and all creators should do, without the fear of having to reinvent yourself and sticking to one storyline, because there's multiple storylines. There has to be multiple layers to it in order for you to be relatable to someone. Because if you're just a guy who competes, who likes those posts? Other bodybuilders. But who do you coach? Who do you coach? You don't coach other bodybuilders. I mean, if you do, if you're competing at a very, very high level and you're a professional. But for the amateur bodybuilders out there, for the amateur bodybuilders out there, like the other people supporting you and liking your bodybuilding posts are other bodybuilders. They're competing. They're already in the space. So having those multiple layers will allow you to just have more clients and be relatable to all of those prospects and clients.
Yeah, I think something similar with me, because obviously I built out the identity method while I was in prep. So like all the stuff that I was doing, I was showing all behind the scenes with that. As I was doing prep as well on the other side. So I'd created one account, and on one account I was showing all behind the scenes of what I was building. And then on the other account, which was still my main like Dixon Physique account, that was my coaching account, I was doing all my bodybuilding prep and stuff like that. So I had two kind of different storylines going on two different pages. But obviously it did well. Like as soon as we launched, I think we launched and had what 60 70 sign-ups like in the first 24 hours. And I think my target was, at first my target was 10, which is crazy. I said if 10 people sign up to this, I can buy myself a new iPhone. Make better content on my iPhone. I said if 10 people do it, I could do that, because I was shooting on him. It was just like an iPhone 12 Pro Max. That's why I was like, I want to upgrade my iPhone. If it's £100 a month, 10 people sign up, that's £1,000. I can get a new iPhone. So I was like, everyone, 10 people sign up, I'll be happy. And then I just started to see the kind of momentum in it, and I was like, right, I need to put these targets higher. So I think I eventually set my targets to maybe like 40 sign-ups. And I'm doing the whole launch thing, and it's getting to, I think, yeah, I opened it for 24 hours, but everyone came in within like the last 2 hours. So I'm seeing as soon as I launch it, no one's signing up, no one's signing up. I wait until the next morning, okay, we've had a few, and then it goes, and I'm like, right, there's 2 hours left. And then boom, 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 everyone starts coming in, everyone starts coming in. Everyone left it until last minute. But yeah, so what I did with that was the same as like the donut shop thing. That's what I'm saying, is I showed everything, building it behind the scenes, and then I had the launch day, and it was only open for 24 hours, and then everyone came in. But if I didn't do that whole build up, then there wouldn't have been that big influx, because there wouldn't be that kind of urgency to get in. And I kind of teach coaches to do that now with launches that they do. So they might be doing like a 12-week launch or like a 10-week launch package, maybe like in the new year, 10 weeks of coaching for maybe some sort of group coaching package. And we'll run the same thing where for 2 weeks we'll go really, really heavy on launch, and then we'll open spaces, because it's not one-to-one coaching. This one-to-one coaching might be open the whole year, but group coaching, a lower tier package, pretty much all automated, do it yourself sort of stuff. But you can do a 2-week launch for it, open spaces for 24 hours, and then pull in as many people as possible. Run that 3 to 4 times a year to kind of get a nice little influx of clients that will potentially then move up to one-to-one, and also it's a nice little financial boost as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to get low ticket people in just to boost the interest to the one-to-one. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think the biggest results, the biggest mistakes are when people are telling the stories online?
Biggest mistakes when people are telling their stories online. I would say either going too personal or too general. It's like
Yeah,
not being able to identify that fine line of, okay, you could be the bodybuilder, you could be the athlete about to sign up for their competition, but then, like, for example, if you're gonna run an Ironman or a marathon, and you're just posting your Strava stuff on your stories, who gives a shit? What's the context, bro? What is the context?
mm,
You need to add context around it. You need to be able to articulate what this represents, what these results represents, what they represent, and you need to be able to bring people from the beginning to the end in order to create the right climax. And being too personal, like I mentioned in the beginning, would be talking about yeah, just like, my dad died. This is why I'm doing the, stuff like
mm,
that. It's not relevant in my opinion. But while you were telling me about the, not me, while you were telling us about your low ticket launch, something that caught my ear was that you had 70 people sign up for it at launch. And I think it
mm.
would be really valuable to the viewers and myself, because I myself recently started running a low ticket. I'm only selling it in the DMs. I've only done one story sequence uh, to promote it so far, but I'm only strictly selling it in the DMs via not cold but warm DMs. I'm looking at my leads that weren't qualified for the high ticket financially, so I'm trying to sell them the low ticket, seeing who's willing to drop to invest in it, things like that. What would you say was the main factor? Like, if you could, not the main factor, but if you could, like, break it down, like, step by step, how did you manage to get 70 people at launch, bro? That's actually a feat.
Oh, um, work, a lot of work. um,
Yeah.
Losing my life for at least a month. Well,
Mm-hmm.
if we go right back to the start of like when the idea came, I was always good at content and stuff, and I always enjoyed making content. Obviously, it's my background. I got a high achievers scholarship into film school. I got the highest award that you can get through college as well in creative media. So I've always been creative, but I kind of dropped that just to try and become a big ass bodybuilder. um, yeah, so I knew someone who just needed help with the content, and she messaged me and she said, I'll pay you whatever you want, and just to help me with my content." So then I kind of said, "Okay, right, this is what the offer is," and she said, "Yeah." So then I'm going, "All right, cool. I can make some money doing this. I can do this for other people." And obviously, I was getting feedback from a lot of people on Instagram saying, "I love your content. Can you help me out? Can you help me out?" And I was like, "All right, but I want to make this into a proper business. I don't just want to say, look, I can help you with your content. Pay me this. I want to say I can make this into a full business where we have a full platform, a community that helps coaches make better content, build a personal brand." Was obviously the main standpoint of everything, not just like making content, building a personal brand. And then I can kind of do the one-to-one stuff as well as an extra. So my main focus was always the low ticket being the major part, the main part of the business. And then the one-to-one stuff being the extra, where you see a lot of other people where it like one-to-one's the main part of the business, and then the low ticket offer is the kind of secondary thing that people fall into. But for me, that was always priority the first. So I locked myself in a room for literally like 30 days and just built this, and I showed everything while I was building it. I was posting 3 4 times a day. I was speaking to everyone in the DMs, like all that's all I was doing all day, following coaches, speaking to coaches, networking with other mentors to get them to give me a little bit of a shout out. So I managed to probably pull in about 1,000 followers. But when those 1,000 followers are all like hot coaches that need what you're kind of selling, it's easy to just keep pumping the content out because everyone is absorbing the information and everyone wants more. So I'm showing the process. I'm speaking to everyone every single day in the DMs. I'm giving out lead magnets. How many lead magnets did I must have pumped out? I was pumping out like three or four different lead magnets every single week over that month. So I probably had like 10, 15 lead magnets at the end. So I was just driving people into lead magnets to get them on the email list. And then the email list ramped up to maybe like 200 within that month. So there's 200 people there that I'm then firing out the launch email to. That's what I'm thinking. So it's all about stacking as many people as you can into that email list, still doing twice a week emails. And then I held a masterclass the Thursday before the launch. So the launch was on Sunday. So I was like, and then I sent that out to, obviously promoting it on Instagram. We're doing a masterclass. Here's the link. You've got to obviously still get on the email list to do it. Fired that out to the email list. How many coaches did we have on the, I think maybe 50, just over 50 coaches maybe came on the live masterclass of how to, what did we call it? How to get strangers to buy your stuff masterclass. That's what we called it. And it was all centered around like just social media marketing, personal branding. So yeah, loaded people into that. And then from that, I offered something special to anyone that signed up immediately that night. So the spaces officially weren't launching until like the following day. But I said, if you sign up early, you'll also get my WhatsApp number. You'll also get this extra. You'll get this extra, whatever. You'll get put into a raffle to get a one-to-one call with me, like all of that. So then I managed to get, I think, 15 people sign up immediately that night after the masterclass. And then the following day, I then launched the full spaces to everyone on the email list. And then that's when the 70 started rolling in. The rest of the people started rolling in. So yeah, I know that was a bit long-winded. I probably could have condensed that a little bit more, but that was the whole process from some person literally saying, I'll pay you to do my content, to turning over 10 grand within the first 30 days. That was literally all of this, what I just went through, happened within 30 days from the idea to a £10,000 a month minimum business.
And I hope all the viewers,
it was sacrifice though.
And I hope all the viewers that just heard this listen closely, and if they didn't, I hope they replay this video so they can rewatch that and understand that that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Like, this wasn't a magical launch. This was 30 days of hard work based off of an idea that Dudley decided to put heart and soul into, to make sure that it was not only good, but to make sure that he was putting himself out there throughout the process. Because a lot of creators, what they're gonna do is, oh yeah, I'm building this thing. It's a secret, but it's gonna explode when I launch. Never happens. Never fucking happens. You need to put heart and soul into it, and you need to showcase at the same time. So that is the power of storytelling right there. 100%. Being able to launch a low ticket product, doing everything you just did, from idea generation, building the actual thing, full focus, putting yourself out there, putting yourself in the right rooms. And putting yourself in the right rooms in 2025 is not going to the coffee shop or going to this restaurant or that hotel. It's putting yourself in the right rooms in here, bro. In here. Putting yourself in the right rooms in there, speaking to the right people, outreaching to the right people. And once everything was in place, then he started giving immense value for free. All of this while telling the story of what he's actually doing. On a new account too, right?
Yeah, full new account.
There you go. That is the power of storytelling. 10 grand after 30
A lot of
days
people just aren't willing to do the sacrifices. Like I was saying, I had no help with this. The whole system, the designs, the logos, the lead magnets, the DM messaging, the Instagram growth building, the editing of all the Instagram videos, the filming of all the Instagram videos. I didn't outsource anything for those first 30 days because I didn't have the funds behind me to do it. So when people are saying, oh, I'd do it if I had the money to do it, you've got time, you've got 24 hours in a day. I was sleeping on the sofa, waking up, doing the work. I was going back again, falling asleep on the sofa. I lost my relationship from this, man. But the sacrifices are needed. Like, it's necessary, and I can't say like I'm mad about it. I really can't, because my life is pushing more and more in the direction where I want to go every single day. I'm not just talking financially there, but I'm talking about like just the way I'm enjoying my days, because I lost a lot of that creative aspect to my life by just being a coach and just being a bodybuilder. Because it's very, you do the same thing every single day, rinse and repeat, chicken, rice, bodybuilding stuff day in and day out. And I've always been creative, and it's just given me that new lease of life again to like continue being creative and express that a little bit more. And I still don't even feel like I'm in my prime in what I'm doing right now, because I used to be so good at this stuff. Like I know I did. And so now I still feel like I'm building my way back up to maybe where I used to be when it was fully what I did. So I still feel like there's a lot of room in front of me to like keep growing and get back to my prime when I was top student at school, getting scholarships to the best film school in the UK, and all of that. Like there's still a lot of room for me to climb my way back up there, because cameras and social media and creative media has changed a lot since I got my qualifications. So I got to catch up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there's a I saw a saying. I cannot recall from where. But I saw a saying. I think it was from Naval. Naval was saying that every single thing that you do in your life is an accumulation for something. It's all an accumulation for one singular thing. One singular thing. It's all an accumulation for your life's purpose. Now, what is your life's purpose? Who knows? Who fucking knows? What you're doing right now, Dudley, it could be an accumulation for your greater purpose in life. But everything adds up. Everything happens for a reason, guys. Everything happens for a reason. I believe in that. I don't know if you believe in that, Dudley, but I believe in that 100%. It wasn't random that you were in film school, and it's not random that today you're teaching people how to be creatives and how to have personal brands. And we're here on a podcast talking about storytelling. It's not random.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy. 'Cause I was like,
Yeah.
why am I getting this film degree? I just want to get massive. I want to be on the Olympia stage. But it full circles back. It full circles back. And
100%.
everything will work out in your life. There's so many times in those years in my pursuit of bodybuilding, I was thinking I was a failure because I wasn't getting to the Olympia stage, because I wasn't turning pro as fast as I wanted to turn pro. But it's all led me to like this point now. So I think we should wrap this up there, because that's a very strong ending. This episode was for those go-getters, those brand builders, those coaches that really need to look into themselves and what their story is, and those that want to just I don't know, just want to get themselves to the next level. Who would you say this episode's for? You round that up for me.
I would say this episode is for the person, the brand, the creator that is unsure, insecure about what they need to post, what they want to do, the kind of brand and the kind of voice that they know they should have, but they've been putting off online, unsure about where it could take them, worrying about, like you said, like exactly the situation you were in, worrying about lagging indicators instead of their performance indicators, meaning lagging indicators meaning the likes you get, the pro card you're gonna get from doing bodybuilding, everything, all the results, the income that you're getting, instead of your performance indicators being telling your fucking story, posting that damn fucking video.
Yeah, so this
It's for
episode is
that
not
person.
for, and it's not for those people that just want to mental masturbate, because that's going to get you nowhere. It's not for those people that are going to complain about having to work hard and live your content, and live around trying to build a business, especially if you're right at the start of your business. You should not be complaining about having to put in work, because you'll get absolutely nowhere. So it's not for you. You need to take action and take little nuggets from everything that we've said here, and tune into the next episode. We will be back next week with another one. You got any final words to sign off?
I think we summed it up pretty well, man. I hope you guys take notes. I hope you guys are inspired from Dudley's story on how he was able to make a successful storytelling community, personal brand community, sorry, on using his platform, using a new account, using the power of storytelling. I hope that was compelling enough for you guys to wake up, to spark something within you, to start on that upward spiral. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Focus on building the story, and everything else will follow. The personal brand, the money, the love of the life, and everything that you want, and showcase it
100%.
in a
100%.
bit.